Namaste viewers. We are going to learn a very famous Hanumanta shloka. Buddhirbalam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogata dharshana vakpadatvam cha hanumasparanat bhavet. I'm going to be doing it in two sessions. One is going to be in English and the other one is going to be Kannada. So we are going to be proceeding now. I just recited the shloka to you right now. We'll have a look at the individual words and their meanings. So I prepared a presentation like I presented there, and then go by one slide at a time, and then have a look at what it actually means and how exactly we have to learn to recite it in the proper way. I mean, uh, so one thing what I would like to say before you start reciting any shlokas is that the mantrocharane or the padocharane should be perfect. Well, if not perfect, it has to be accurate. Because if you change the ucharana of, or if you change the way you pronounce, or if you make some mistakes in pronouncing a word, uh, it becomes a totally opposite meaning in many cases. So instead of reaping a positive benefit, you may stand at the risk of reaping a negative benefit, a negative side of negative effects. Right. So I put a couple of slides together. Let's go through them one at a time. I've broken them down mostly to such simplistic parts, and then we will go one part at a time. So you're seeing the shloka first in English and then in Sanskrita. Buddhihi bala balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. The ucharane is buddhi. First, you will have to say buddhi and the H, buddhihi. It becomes buddhihi, right? Bala and balam, yasho. It's not yasho, yasho, dhairyam, nirbhaya, and that is followed by tvam, nirbhayatvam, aroga, aroga, arogatat, ajhadyam. You have to be very careful here. It's not ajadyam, it is ajhadyam. Ajadyam, vak, K is half there. Vak, patu. The capital T here means is a higher T. It's the higher T. It's not the ta. It's not ta 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 da da. It is ta ta da da da. It's that ta T, right? Patutvam, patu, patutva, patutvam, cha, cha, cha. It's not cha or anything. It's just cha. Hanumat, Hanumat, Hanumat. Again, this T is the smaller one. It's not the higher one. It's the smaller one. Hanumat, Smaranat, Smara, Nath, Smara. There seems to be a problem in the recording. Right. Okay. No problem. Right. Hanumat, Smara, Smaranat. The N is Na. It's not tata da na. It is not that na. It is the na. Ta ta da da na. The higher one. Um, A, capital A, meaning it's the prolonged A. Ah, smarana. Again, the T is tata da da na. Is a tata there. It's a silent. It's a lower T. All right. So smaranat. The T is half there. Smaranat, Bhavet. Capital E meaning that it is A, it's not E. A, Eighth, eighth. T is a smaller, the lower one, and it's half. Bhavet, Buddhihi, Buddhihi, Balam, Yasho, Dhairyam, Nirbhayatvam, Arogatat, Ajadyam, Vakpatutva, Patutvam, Cha, Hanumat, Smaranat, Smaranat, bhavet. Now we will go through one word at a time. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. We are first learning how to recite it, and then the second part of it is going to be how to understand this shloka. We are first learning to recite this. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is that basically at the end of each such recitations that I'm going to do, I'm going to make a pause. You will have to make a pause in the video and then try to do exactly what I have done, and then you can proceed to the next. As I'm going to the next slides, you can do the same thing for every slides, right? If I say this slide now, you make a pause and then you repeat exactly as I said in that for that slide, and then when I proceed further, you listen to what I'm doing in the next slide, and then once that I have finished in the next slide, you pause it, and then you repeat whatever is in the slide exactly the way I said it, and then we will proceed further. Okay, this slide. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Next slide now. Buddhihi balam balam balam. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Going to the next slide now. Buddhihi balam yasho yasho yasho. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide. Dhairyam dhairyam dhairyam. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Nirbhayatvam 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 nirbhayatvam. It's not nirbhayatvam, nirbhayatvam, right? You have to send it together. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Arogatat 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 arogatat. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Ajhadyam 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 ajhadyam. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Vak vak vak. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Patutvam 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 patutvam. Buddhihi balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajhadyam vak patutvam cha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Vak Patutvam Cha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Cha, cha, cha. Buddhihi Balam Yasho Dhairyam Nirbhayatvam Arogatat Ajhadyam Vak Patutvam Cha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Next slide. Hanumat, 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 Buddhihi, Balam, Yasho, Dhairyam, Nirbhayatvam, Arogatat, Ajhadyam, Vak, Patutvam, Cha, Hanumat, Smaranat, Bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Smaranat, Buddhihi, Balam, Yasho, Dhairyam, Nirbhayatvam, Arogatat, Ajhadyam, Vak, Patutvam, Cha, Hanumat, Smaranat, 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 Bhavet. Next one. Bhavet, Buddhihi, Balam, Yasho, Dhairyam. There seems to be some issue in sharing the screen, guys. No problem. Bhavet, 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 Buddhihi, Balam, Yasho, Dhairyam, Nirbhayatvam, Arogatat, Ajhadyam, Vak, Patutvam, Cha, Hanumat, Smaranat, Bhavet. Okay, now we have seen the broken way of reciting and the proper way of reciting, and in terms of learning the meanings and the shlokas themselves, we'll go to the next higher level of reciting, where we do a sandhi, right, of two words together, and then we say them together at once. Buddhihi balam becomes buddhirbalam. Buddhir. Notice that buddhir, right? Buddhihi becomes buddhir, but now there's no more gap between buddhihi and balam. They both are joined. Buddhihi and balam together becomes buddhirbalam. 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 Buddhirbhalam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat. Nirbhayatvam and arogatat. For example, let me turn on the pointer and then, yes, there we go. Buddhirbhalam, yasho, dhairyam, that nirbhayatva and arogatat. Nirbhayatva and arogatat, at this point, they are separate in the previous thing what we have learned so far. Now, when they do sandhi and then you join them up, it's going to become nirbhayatva arogatat, nirbhayatvam arogatat, nirbhayatvam arogatat. Nirbhayatvam arogatat is not recited as two separate words. Nirbhayatvama, it becomes like nirbhayatvama rogatat. Nirbhayatvam arogatat. That that half silent, half m is taken off, but the akara is given to the half silent itself, right? So nirbhayatvam arogatat. Nirbhayatvam arogatat becomes nirbhayatvam arogatat. If I want to break it down a bit further, tvam aroga. Tvam, or let's look at only these two. Tvam, aroga, just parts of the other two sides. Tvam and aroga, join them up, becomes twamaroga. 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 Instead of tvam aroga, it becomes twamaroga. In the same way, let's put them up together. Nirbhayatvam arogatat becomes nirbhayatvam arogatat. So if I want to repeat the first line, buddhirbalam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat. Buddhirbhalam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat. Buddhirbhalam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat. Next one. Ajhadyam. Ajhadyam vakpatutvam. Vakpatutvam becomes vakpatutvam. Vakpatutvam, right? Yeah, it's not a big deal. Ajhadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet, right? All of them combined becomes hanumat smaranat bhavet. Now you're taking away the gaps between the words and then saying all these three words together. Hanumat smaranat bhavet. Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet becomes Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Buddhihi Balam Yasho Dhairyam Nirbhayatvam Arogata Jadyam Vakpadattam Cha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Buddhir Balam Yasho Dhairyam Nirbhayatvam Arogata Jadyam Vakpadattam Cha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Right? Buddhihi Buddhir Balam Yasho Dhairyam. So let me go back and then start. Buddhir Balam Yasho Dhairyam Nirbhayatvam Arogatat Ajadyam Vakpatutvam Cha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Now, next slide. Going to the next slide. Now you can pause and then repeat what I have done. Now, in this new slide, Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide now. Dhairyam. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Notice how I'm saying cha and vakpatutvam together. Vakpatutvam cha, right? You can do that. No, there's no. I don't do that. You can't do that or anything. Ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Next slide. Nirbhayatvam arogatat. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Go to the next slide. Ajadyam Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Notice how I combined yasho and dhairyam together. You can do that as well. Yashodhairyam, but they're not sandhis or anything. They're just two words joined them up. Said a bit more faster together. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Vakpatutvam. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Hanumat smaranat bhavet. Hanumat smaranat bhavet. Hanumat smaranat bhavet. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Right. Now that we have learned so far, we're going to go into the next slide. If you have a look at it, when I say Buddhirbalam, right? Buddhirbalam sounds like it's one word. Yashodhairyam sounds like another word. Nirbhayatvam arogata sounds like another word. Ajadyam sounds like another word. Vakpatutvam cha sounds like another word. Hanumat smaranat bhavet does sound like another word, right? Okay. Now we're going to break it up to its absolute fundamentals and then go to the next slide. Right. Buddhihi hanumat smaranat bhavet. Balam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Yashaha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Dhairyam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Nirbhayatvam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Arogata hanumat smaranat bhavet. Ajhadyam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Vakpatutvam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Buddhi hanumat smaranat bhavet. Balam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Yasha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Dhairyam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Nirbhayatvam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Arogata hanumat smaranat bhavet. Ajadyam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Vakpatutvam hanumat smaranat bhavet. Now we will go to one level deeper and then try to understand its meanings right now. Right? Before I start to say this, I want to recite Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam so that I seek the blessings of Hanumanta. Buddhirbalam yashodhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat smaranat bhavet. There you go. Now, buddhihi. What do we mean by buddhi? Buddhi is our intellect. It is not intelligence. Buddhi is not our knowledge. Buddhi means intellect. It is what which gives us the power to choose. It's what gives us the power to deal with logic. It's what gives us the tools and the power to deal with the right and wrong, the ability to make a decision between the right and the wrong, the ability to make any kind of a decision at all, and it's also the ability, and it also gives you the ability to handle a situation. That is the buddhi, right? We need buddhi to be successful in life. right? Whatever the definition of success could be for you, it could be a spiritual success, it could be an intellectual surface success, or it could be your success in an exam, it could be your success in a football match, for example, or in a cricket, or in a play, or in a game of chess. It could be your success in swimming, it could be your success in singing, or playing instruments. It could be your success in say, for example, uh, in your day-to-day life as well. Uh, so you need buddhi, right? Balam. I'll give you an example. Like, for example, say you have you have been put up in a situation where there is a requirement for you to decide between what is right and what is wrong, and then how do you do that? You do that using your buddhi, right? That is buddhi Hanumat Pranadava. So why do I put Hanumat Pranadava there? Hanumat Pranadava. So what do I mean by Hanumat? Hanumat means Hanuma, which is Anjaneya, right? Smaranat, that means Smaranat Bhavet. That means Buddhihi Hanuman Smaranat Bhavet. Bhavet means I will be able to gain this knowledge or this ability, or I will be able to strengthen or gain or increase the potency of the ability of being of being able to choose wisely, or between multiple choices, right? Not just choices, between do things in a more wiser manner, right? uh, so when you pray to Hanumanta with this wish, then he will bestow buddhi upon you. That means he will increase your intellect. That is what you're praying for. Buddhihi Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. So it is an absolutely essential skill, right? Balam, Balam Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. So it's not essential. It's not enough to have only buddhi, right? You have to have the strength to do any job. So Balam is the strength, right? Balam, Hanumat Pranada. So to do anything, you need strength to carry out the task. It could be mental strength, or it could be physical strength, or it could be emotional strength. Um, it depends on your interaction with Hanumanta. What you are trying? Are you asking Are you asking Hanumanta for your emotional strength? He will bestow it upon you. Um, um, Balam Hanumat Smaranandavai. That means if you even the strength, whatever it could be, can be enabled or can be gained by remembering uh, uh, Lord Hanumanta, right? Or by doing namaskara and seeking these particular set of ashirvada or blessings from Hanumanta, right? And then Yashaha Hanumat Smaranadaved. Yashaha means, Yasha is, what can I say? It's the societal soft form of the success, right? That means Yashas. Um, it is being honored in a society, or it could also well be being recognized in the society for the good work that you are doing, or it could as well be that it could be a broader perspective of success in general. So this is Yasha. Who doesn't want Yasha? A lot of people do. I mean, I'm not talking about fame. This is not fame. Okay, it is different. It is being given your hat, right? That means it's it's being uh, it is being given the fruits of your hard work, right? um, you deserve what you deserve. So that is yasha. When you reach that, then that means that it is yashas, right? But yashas has generally got to do with not just an individualistic perspective, but it's got to do with societal perspective as well. Right? Okay, yashaha Hanumat. Even this kind of a success can also be achieved by praying to Hanumanta. Dhairyam, Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. Hanumat Dhairyam, Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. This whole shloka is kind of an affirmation to ourselves. That means, why do we say affirmation to ourselves? Inside us resides the Pranadeva, which is the Hanumanta as of the form. So we are remembering him uh, by saying it to ourselves that yes, this is possible by prostrating to you. This is possible by praying it to you. So that's what we're trying to do all the time in this shloka. Dhairyam Hanumat Smaranat. Dhairyam is the what can I say? Courage, valor, courage. You need courage to do anything. Okay, if you want to wage a war, yes, you need courage. Wage a war means not with weapons or anything. Between the good and evil in your mind, for example, right? And it could as well be that to say the truth in a difficult situation, or how do you represent yourself in a fearless manner, fearlessness, right? And courage, and these are aspects of which come under dhairya. So if you have to be fearless, if you want to say the truth in front of four people who are liars, who are trying to manipulate for the bad, and if you want to get things back on track, then you need some dhairya to do that. And that dhairya need not be, foolish courage or anything. It has to be good courage, well measured up courage. So how do you get this? You get that, or you can increase that by praying to Lord Hanumanta, by making this particular wish, right? So if you have a look at whatever we have learned now, we have learned about buddhi, balam, yashaha, and dhairyam. For example, you cannot get yashas if you don't have dhairya, right? But if you get yashas, you get more dhairya also. But you have dhairya, you can get yashas. So there, and then balam. So without balam, you can't have. Without manobalam, you cannot have dhairya. Without manobalam and dehabalam, you cannot many times have yashas. But with a lot of bala and dhairya, and if you don't have buddhi, then it becomes like foolish courage or foolish fearlessness, which is also bad. So you need to have buddhi. So all these four aspects go hand in hand with each other, right? Where if I were to put them all, grade them up in terms of their importance, I would exactly hit it as buddhi, bala, and then dhairya, and then yashas. And then dhairya and yashas could be interactive, could be opposite, interchanged as well. Nirbhayatva meaning that if let's look at the word bhaya. Bhaya is basically fear, afraid, being afraid. Nirbhayatva is the state of being afraid. Right. Sorry, bhayatva is the state of being afraid, and nirbhayatva is the state of not being afraid. Being afraid or not being afraid of what? There has to be something afraid of. I mean, if I say that I'm afraid, then it has no meaning in it. So it has to always have a purpose. It has to always have an association there. Bhaya means I am afraid of this, I am afraid of that. I am associating my bhaya to something, some other event, or some other thing, or some other person, or some other animal, or some other an object. So that's my association to that world. So rather than having this level of association, if you sink in a level deeper and then have a look at it from the broader perspective, then you're going to understand that the actual form of bhaya that we are talking about is not the bhaya of that object itself, is the bhaya of the consequence of being associated with that object, right? That is bhaya, because bhaya doesn't come from that object itself. It comes from our understanding or collective understanding of the consequences of our interaction with an object. I'll give you for example. We are afraid of touching a flame. Why? Because the consequence is that you get burned. You're afraid of the consequence and not the fire itself, right? Because if you were a man or a woman or somebody who never knew of fire before, and if I presented fire in front of you and you want to touch it, you could go and touch it, but because you don't know the consequence of touching it, right? Because you're still not afraid of touching the or consequence, because you never know of the consequence. How can you be afraid of something when you don't know the consequence of interactions with it, isn't it? Like for example, if you are a person who have never heard of any ghost stories, or have never heard of any ghosts, or you've never seen any ghosts, or you've never come in face to face or in any kind of an interaction with a negative entity, then you will never be afraid of such things, because you don't know what they are, you have never seen them. Even if they come across in front of you, let's say that your subliminal subconscious feelings are suppressed, and then you come across some such kind of a negative entity, and you wouldn't be afraid. I don't know, I haven't come across such negative entity, so I'm really not, I cannot vouch for this statement. But giving you a hypothetical situation, oh yes, this is something which could happen, right? So so if you have a look at it from this perspective, then why not? Yes, definitely it does have an impact. Definitely it does have an impact, in the sense that you are in a way intertwined with the consequence. This state of being intertwined uh, with the consequences of the object. This object could be physical and non-physical. Say, for example, the consequence, the if you the fear of heights, all right. And then fear of snakes. For example, let's take an example. You're walking, you're walking in moonlight, in a forest, and you come across you come across a piece of big rope, right? uh, Now immediately your mind thinks that, oh yes, okay, you're associating it with a snake. Or let's pick up the rope, and then let's put the snake there. You come across a snake, and you know of the consequences of interacting with the snake, that it could be dangerous. So your natural reaction is that you're afraid of it. You become afraid of that means you become you the bhaya develops inside you against or with respect to the snake in front of you, right? So had you been in a situation where you have never encountered a snake before, and you have never heard of a snake before, you don't know what a snake is, then how do you know? You don't even know what a snake is, then how do you know the consequence of being interacting with a snake, right? So what exactly is being prayed to Hanumanta here is that this state of being intertwined, make it a an insightful intertwinement, right? Or rather, a known intertwining of the fear of consequence. A known fear is better than an unknown fear. An unknown fear is basically stemming from ignorance. What is this ignorance? This ignorance comes from the fact that you don't know how to come out of this entitled or intertwined nature of or your fear with the consequence of something else, and you and the consequence are intertwined. If you are in a position to detangle the entangled state of yourself and the fear of consequence, or the consequence itself, then you are in a much better position. So you will be granted, when you pray to Hanumanta, the exact kind of buddhi, balam, and dhairya, and everything else, all the other characters, and this and this ability to detangle yourself from such association uh, is also provided. And if you go to a one level deeper, and then bring in some concept from the Bhagavad Gita, then this is basically talking about vairagya also. God, please, by giving nirbhayatva, make me detached in the attached position, right? Is the detachful attachment is nothing but vairagya. It's not about running away from things. It's not running away from things, or running away from your duties or consequences. It rather has to do with be isabeku idu jaisabeku. That means that you will have to be there, and then you will have to work for it. But then don't be intertwined with the consequences or the fruits of your action. The fruits will always be there. Don't keep expecting for it. Okay. So that is, you don't expect the consequences of many things when you have the knowledge of that thing. And in many cases, it also points us to another direction where not just the ability to detangle yourself from this consequence and the cause and effect kind of a thing. It also means that nirbhayatva means when you expect something, and whatever you are expecting, if you are in a position to deal with it confidently, then you will no longer be afraid of that situation. Say, for example, you go to an exam hall, right? And when you want to say for example, you are not prepared well for, because you were ill or anything for the exam, and then um, you still go and write that exam, but your fear of consequences is less, provided that you are confident enough in your abilities that yes, I will take it up in the next time, and I'm going to be very positive about my performance next time, because I believe in my preparations for the next time that I'm going to be doing. So that is nirbhayatva also, right? So if that is where do you get that from? That comes from a strong sense of self confidence. So that means if you are praying for Hanumanta to give you nirbhayatva, that means that he is not just giving you nirbhayatva, he's going to give you all the qualities which support nirbhayatva as well, right? Which are not provided in this. Um, in these set of qualities which are you are asking. For example, if you ask for idli, uh, idli is a collection of many things which make idli. And there's water in it, there's salt in it, and so many other things in it. So when somebody gives you idli, and idli is not just one single thing. It's made, they're giving you many elements of the idli together to you, right? So you can't just cook up an idli, can you? You need the elements. So you, Lord Hanumanta, he will make sure that you will also get the background entities of Nirbhayatva and not just Nirbhayatva, right? Right. Okay. That's so. With this, we can probably go ahead. So okay. One more thing is, there's no point in, I mean, to be doing nirbhayatva, you also get buddhi. The more the buddhi you get, the more conscious efforts are going to be yours in terms of detangling yourself with the effects of consequences, or the fear of consequences of certain actions or certain objects. Balam, yes, the more the bala that you have, it increases your confidence. Manobala means it will increase your self confidence, but the deha bala means it will increase your self confidence in many ways. And also emotional strength also will improve your self confidence. It provides you resilience in a situation. There are so many things. This is a multi-dimensional shloka which is going to take you to heights if you know how to use it properly, right? Dhairya, and dhairya means, okay, I mean, you need to be having dhairya if you are to be in a position to make a conscious decision as to, I'm not going to be afraid of the consequence, right? So the more these qualities you have, the more you carry all of them together forward, higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, right? Arogata means, okay, for all these things and for you to be affecting performing positively and effectively, it has to be arogata. What do we mean by arogata? Means a and roga and tat. Aroga tat. Roga means illness, right? Let's say that uh, uh, let's dumb it down. No, not dumb it down a bit. Let's dilute it a bit. Let's dilute the meaning of roga for obvious reasons, and let's consider that uh, I'm going to be imposing myself upon it. And then let's say that I have a fever. Okay, that means if in a fever situation I'm not able to perform my duties as effectively as in a state where I would not be in my feverish condition, right? So I cannot use my buddhi effectively if I am if I have a roga. I cannot use the bala that I will so all the other qualities becomes weakened in the presence of roga. That means you're also praying to Lord Hanuman that please grant me the state of not being in the roga situation, right? That means the nirbhayatva is the state of being ill, and roga is illness. And roga tat, when you attach it, it becomes that it's a state of being is a state of being in illness, or it's a state of being ill, right? That is arogata. That is rogata. Arogata means it's a negation. Okay, it's a negation. So when I say arogatat, and roga are combined together, make it to be in a position of health, vitality. So that's you're asking Lord Hanumanta for these blessings. So when you're asking for Hanumanta, please give me arogatat. That means arogatat Hanumat Swaranapa. That means that uh, when you pray to Hanumanta with these wish, that please put me in a state of health, put me in a state of vitality, right? And physical and mental and emotional vigor and strength and prowess and activity on the brighter side of things. Then all the other qualities that you have requested, that will make a better impact on you. What if you have a lot of buddhi, bala, yasho, dhairya, nirbhayatva, yasha, let's take the yasha out of it, buddhi, bala, dhairya, nirbhayatva, and everything, but you are always in a you're always ill. Can you be successful in life? I don't think you can be that successful as against the condition where uh, as against the condition of being very healthy all the time. That means healthy means not just physical health, mental health and emotional health as well. and social health as well, and financial health as well. Why not? Yes, because even financial health is needed if you want to be yasho. That means, right, isn't it? So why? Because you need financial help to. You need financial health if you want to help yourself in the society, and also to help others in the society. That means swadharma and paradharma if you want to do them. That is also needed. And ajhadyam. Let's go to the ajhadyam hanumat pranadavit. Jadya means laziness. What if you have all these qualities but you're always lazy, right? What if you're very healthy, or you have a lot of strength, you have a lot of intellect, and then you have a lot of dhairya and then nirbhayatva, but you're always lazy? What can we do, right? That means that you don't have the will to start a job. It's useless. So when you pray, so you have to pray. So when you pray to Lord Hanumanta, that even the state of being lazy can be removed. That's what we are trying to understand in this line. Ajadyam Hanumat Pranadavit. So Vakpatutvam Hanumat Pranadavit. So walk. So the walk means it is it is directly linked to Saraswati, or your speech. It's your speech. See, it is not talking. Walk is not talking. Walk is got to do with speech. So what do we mean by speech? Speech is it's a distinctive, differentiated meaning against talking. Talking is just conversations. You can group them together like this. You don't generally expect to have a lot of structure in talk when you're talking. A talk is different, but a talk is a collection of speeches, but a talking is different. And so you don't really mandate for a structure to prevail in a talk, in talking, or in a conversation in many cases, in most cases. But when it comes to speech, yes, that's why you call it as a speech when it is structured. So it has to be having adi, madhyana, antya. That means it has to have a proper structure. That means the beginning should be good. It has the valid content, and it has the proper conclusion. So it has to meet to the audience, and it has to be put forward in a way that your information is conveyed in the most efficient manner. So all these things, all these better qualities, when they are put together behind the words or the sentences that you say in your interaction with the world or to yourself, then it becomes speech. Then it becomes speech. Right? Then that's why Vakpatutvam is very essential. Vak is speech, and then patutva. Patutva means it's the state of having expertise. Right? So your state of having expertise in speech is absolutely essential if you want to have yashas in life, right? So you see how all of them are intertwined. So your interaction and vakpatutvam, it's, I don't think it only concerns itself to verbal speech, and it pretty much also conveys non-verbal speech. And non-verbal speech could be in terms of your body language as well, and your facial expressions. So if you would like to enable better efficiencies in these cadres of life, or in these cadres of communication, then you really need to start praying to Lord Hanumanta with these particular requests from Hanumanta, right? So that's it. I mean, that's the overall, generalistic and slightly, what can I say? It's in between the superficial and deeper level of understanding of this shloka. Uh, yes, and I think it's all fine. And then we're going to end it with a proper recital of the original shloka that we did. buddhirbalam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogatat ajadyam vakpatutvam cha hanumat svaranad bhavet. Namaste.